Hi there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Practical Marketing Tips for Small Law Firms, where we interview industry experts about proven, used today attorney marketing strategies. I'm your host, Cara Pryor, president of James Publishing. I'm also the founder of our Marketing Amplifier system. I spend most of my days really strategizing with lawyers on how to improve their marketing ROI, the return on that ever so precious marketing investment. We have a great guest with us today. I'm really excited to welcome Bill Hauser. He's the founder of SMB team. He's a real innovator, a mover and shaker in the industry. I've really been following Bill's work for some time now. He knows his stuff. He has a super loyal following. He gets results. At just 29 years old, Bill has built SMB into a $7 million valuation in just 3 years. Not bad, right? He's the host of the Lawyer Mastermind show, where he's interviewed some of the top attorneys in the country. And I want to mention too, SMB team is not just an agency anymore, right? They also provide top-notch coaching and courses for law firms. But Bill personally helps lawyers really take that grand action toward achieving their lofty growth goals. So I'm super grateful he's agreed to share his knowledge with all of you today. Welcome, Bill.
I wouldn't call it knowledge. I'd call it a lot of head bruises from ding, ding, banging my head against the wall. So
well, that too. Yeah. Yeah. You really seem to kind of be on a rocket to the moon. So we're really excited to have you here.
I appreciate it.
Today, we're going to talk about how attorneys can boost their marketing ROI. Bill, I'm particularly excited about this topic this week because attorneys are always asking me about how they can kind of maximize the return on that marketing investment. Or they're sort of telling me those horror stories from their past, investing in all kinds of marketing channels that never kind of yield results. But you guys at SMB, you're kind of ROI obsessed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah. Well, so just getting right into it, why is marketing ROI so important for law firms?
Yeah. So this is this, and by the way, you just did the most coherent and well-crafted introduction I've ever had in my life. So you are just amazing and an absolute natural at this. So I may end up paying you to train me on how you did that. So just a little tidbit there. So what's really funny is when I wrote that we are ROI obsessed as we were crafting our core values as a company, it's funny. It's put me on this mission to realize what creates, to learn what is ROI in a law firm. And I came to this epiphany, and this is the reason why we got out of just doing agency work, right? Which we still have 15 full-time team members doing, and we're growing that side of the business. But we realized that when most attorneys hire an agency to do their marketing, it's done from a victim mentality. It's like, oh, I hired this agency. Are they going to figure out my marketing strategy and my unique selling proposition? Are they going to figure out my intake? And are they going to figure out the efficiencies of my firm? Are they going to aggressively follow up with leads and handle objections and turn them into clients? And it's just like this, figure it out for me, agency, right? So I got really frustrated because I'm sure you've went through this before. Clients that you get great results for, you're doing really good work for an attorney, but yet they're unhappy with their results because there's systemic flaws in their business. And it came to this one epiphany, which I find really fascinating. I want to share with you, Cara. It's that marketing in and of itself is not profitable. If there's 3 sectors in a law firm, there's marketing, there's intake, and there's operations, okay? Tell me, how does marketing, essentially getting the word out and capturing leads, that's what marketing is in this 3-pronged scenario I'm explaining, how is marketing profitable? I mean, it's not. It's meant to generate attention and give the opportunity for profit. Where profit is created is in the effectiveness of your intake system and the efficiency of your case management operations, right? So the question around ROI, this is why we spun out courses and coaching programs for attorneys, is because I was fed up. I'm like, let's just solve the root issues here. Let's start teaching attorneys how to do sales, and let's start teaching attorneys how we've 3x'd our company 3 years in a row with no experience using project management tools like Basecamp, quarterly rocks from the book Traction, and crafting a leadership team with no experience, right? And all these things we went through in 3 short years. How can we teach other lawyers this so that every dollar they spend on marketing goes further? So what I'm interested in when you ask the question about ROI, I'm interested in ROI multipliers. And what I've found is that the key ROI multiplier is brand, right? For us right now, since we've built a lot of name recognition and delivered a lot of value for free in the marketplace with no ask tied to it, by the way, for all of our lawyer masterminds, like no pitch for a year on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now it leads to other things that lead to offers that we offer to attorneys.
Sure.
But what happens is every dollar we spend now on marketing, I could mess up all my Facebook ads, my Google ads, and my YouTube ads, and we're still going to get an ROI because there's that earned marketplace trust. Mm-hmm. So the other thing I'm really interested in teaching is how do you build brand multiplier? I call them trust signals, right? And this is something that you guys provide, like books and really good content so that attorneys, when they get a lead, that there's some form of trust there so that when you go into the cold audience with your marketing, that's the real killer, by the way. The real killer is people expecting to do cold audience marketing and expecting something from that without building a brand and without having anything unique about their firm. If you're promoting trash, what do you think the results are going to? You could have the best campaigns in the world. Nobody wants to buy trash, right? And that's how most law firms craft their unique selling proposition. Family lawyer will say, more experience, more cases won, blah, 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 blah. That's what everyone's saying. So you could go pour thousands and thousands of dollars of marketing spend on bad messaging and nothing unique and trash, and it's still not going to work well. So what I've become interested in, your question is, why is marketing ROI so important for law firms? What I would reframe that and say marketing efficiency. Efficiency is important for law firms rather than return on investment, which really happens in the intake process and the case operations process. So I hope that answers your question somewhat.
Yeah, definitely. And I like how you really did sort of kind of turn that on its head, because that is the question I hear, and I'm sure you do all the time too, from attorneys is, okay, so I'm spending X and here's what I'm getting Y, with nothing connecting those two dots, meaning, so often I talk to attorneys who are just spending tons of money on PPC, throwing tons of money away every month, trying to generate, more leads, volume. And they're not really doing anything with those leads, right? Perhaps those folks are inquiring, not signing up right away. And then they're just, why isn't this working? Why?
Mm-hmm.
How can I distinguish myself? How can I kind of, stand out and really kind of nurture these? I think that's, the better question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and just a little side point on that. And I know we're going to go into how to track ROI. One thing I noticed that holds people back is what I call ROI obsession, right?
Yeah,
definitely. Believe me, I talk to all the biggest attorneys. I've had them on my show. I can text Mike Morse literally right now. Like, he's been on our show a million times. When he does a massive charity drive that makes all of Michigan talk about him, when he goes and dumps millions on TV ads and he does all these branding things that make him omnipresent in his market, is he worried about ROI? Am I worried about ROI every time I do a webinar? Am I worried about ROI every time I do a free training? No. And actually the market will see through that. And this is why the small law firms, like you said something about in the beginning, that you guys really cater to the small law firm. Like, guys, you're only a small law firm if that's what you keep telling yourself. Like, if you're a big law firm in your mind, then eventually reality will catch up, right? So, but ROI obsession is what keeps that small law firm segment, I believe, held back. And that's why they invest in one-to-one ROI platforms, meaning lead aggregators. Can I buy a lead for $100 and can I make 1,000 on every couple leads that come in? Ding, 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 ding. What happens is when you go for 3-to-1 ROI investments, and that's all you do, you're in ROI obsession, and you're going to miss those big branding moves that actually build trust in the market and act as that multiplier effect. So just figured I'd add that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, those pieces are so often missing, and marketing is all about testing, experimenting, pivoting, and figuring out what's working. And if you are, as you say, kind of so focused and ROI obsessed, you'll miss all of those opportunities. You won't even try all of those other, kind of brand building, nurturing pieces, to kind of even get to those bigger experiments. So kind of getting back to then, with all of this in mind, how can attorneys kind of measure or track their marketing ROI? So often attorneys get so overwhelmed with this, right? Where do I start? What are the metrics that matter? So maybe we can touch on that briefly.
Yeah. I would say don't. Yeah. Don't track your market here. And I'm saying that tongue in cheek, but the number one metric that matters is, am I reaching my revenue goal? Am I reaching my goals? Am I reaching my goals? Oh, adversity hits. Oh, am I reaching my goals? What's the target? What's the target? What's the target? It's why I write down my goals every morning. And I've done this for, I don't even know, 5 years now, is because that's what's most important. We spend about 60 grand a month on advertising for our company, between Facebook, Google, and YouTube. And I couldn't tell you our marketing ROI. I have no idea. I'll tell you this, we are wildly profitable right now as a company because we're focusing on brand, and then all the little tinkering things we do work because we have a brand. In the beginning, when I was just running Google ads and we had no brand, I hated my life. I mean, it sucked. Every lead we got was just like skeptical. I mean, because we ran ads to attorneys. We scaled up to like 20 grand a month or so on Google ads with, I was very, very aggressive on Google ads because that's what our specialty is in our services side of the business. And I just hated it. I hated working, and I didn't realize it because I was motivated and I was growing my company, but it sucked. I'd rather have a brand any day of the week and then have the problem of turning that brand into more revenue than have every single lead that calls me be skeptical, right? And so the number one metric that matters when measuring ROI is, am I reaching my revenue goal? And I'm not saying profit, I'm saying revenue, because revenue creates the opportunity for profit, right? In me growing this company, I found this is how we create profit. We go unprofitable, we make tons of investments, we grow revenue, but unprofitably, because maybe we hired some of the wrong team members, maybe we made some of the wrong marketing investments, right? And then once you have that revenue, you're then able to inspect. So I created this 3-step process, really just to appease my own mind: pioneer, audit, systemize. Pioneer, audit, systemize. Pioneer, audit, systemize. Pioneer means go try something new. Okay. When we pulled off our first summit with Kevin Harrington, and it was crazy, that was pioneer time. I'm getting goosebumps remembering it. I was scared crapless, so I don't curse. Okay. I was very scared. But in the wake of that summit, we audited, wait, what happened with this new marketing endeavor? And then we took the pieces that worked, that we knew for sure worked well, the efficient parts of that pioneering, and we systemized it. And we built a team. Now we hold quarterly summits every quarter. We systemized what worked and scrapped the fat, essentially. So, for me, if you've been flatlining your law firm for 5-10 years, it's a problem up here, right? And focusing on ROI is not going to get you to grow top of line. Like, I think you need to be willing to go broke to hit that next level, because it'll rise within you a sense of urgency to where you're like, crap, I need to build better systems, fire people who are underperforming, make that more efficient, optimize this, right? So that's how it's been for me, is go to the breaking point, and then on the other side of that breaking point, if you can just stick through right past where you feel like you should give up, that's what it's been for me. So we don't really track our ROI, but if I had to answer your question at gunpoint and someone was like, please answer the question, stop being so spacey, I would say cost per lead, right? That's really what it comes down to. And then knowing how you can work backwards from cost per lead. Now, not per platform per lead. Okay. Meaning don't just look at your Google ads cost per lead, SEO, organic cost per lead, Facebook ads cost per lead. just look at it macro, right? Because the problem is we live in a multi-touch society. 70% of leads come in through dark social. Do you ever hear me say this before or no?
I have, yes.
Dark social. Okay. So
I
dark
know
social is,
our listeners have, yeah.
so dark social is essentially the secret sharing of information that happens away from the web, right?
Like it.
So someone reads your ebook and then tells someone about it, and then they know someone who knows a lawyer, right? This is what's happening with us on Clubhouse right now. I got 7,000 followers in 3 weeks on Clubhouse, and I serve lawyers. And we've gotten clients from Clubhouse from people who knew lawyers, who knew lawyers, who knew lawyers, right? We're like, oh, these people do lawyer marketing. And I've never done this before. And that's why I was telling you, like, we're going to go wide on our brand now, because I'm seeing the benefits of going wide on brand and then having a niche, unique selling proposition. So this holds a lot of attorneys back. If you're a high net worth divorce lawyer, you're like, well, I'm not going to market on Google because that's the low income market. Or, you know, there's all these fixated beliefs around your niche, your practice area, that then cause you to not go venture into new things, which is actually a blue ocean. Like if no high net worth divorce lawyer is doing Google ads, that's a blue ocean for when people do go to Google to make that last decision, the last touch before they reach out to a lawyer. There you are, right? So it's cost per lead. If I was at gunpoint and had to answer, how do you measure ROI? Cost per lead, number one. And then number two would be booked consult conversion rate. But I wouldn't worry about crazy technical software. I mean, we do quite a bit of revenue right now, and I'm probably going to have to hire a data scientist. Seriously. I'm not saying that jokingly. Like, we're right at the brink right now. We're actually interviewing. We're going to hire a data scientist on contract for like 2 or 3 months, go through all of our CRM, our email tags, try and derive the source of leads, create dashboards from it. But a lot of it's gut, honestly. When you're in growth mode, it's gut and courage. So I hope that answers your question. Cost per lead.
Yeah, well, you know, Bill, I think that's such good advice to not segment those marketing channels, because, oh man, I hear that all the time, right? So, you know, I'm compartmentalizing. I'm not seeing the, you know, return on this channel. So I'm completely scrapping it. And, you know, rather than looking at the kind of holistic, you know, how are these pieces interconnected? And then where's kind of that support, that branding, you know, that dark social piece coming into. So attorneys that are listening to this, they're saying, okay, you know, this all makes sense. This is all great. Where can they start? You know, what is a small kind of first step in the direction that you're preaching here? Yeah.
So it's interesting. It depends on where the law firm is at. I think the things, it's easy for me to say right now that I can focus on brand because I built my agency to 1.45 million in year 2. And we had revenue and a big enough team where I could actually step away from operations and go all into content marketing. Right. Looking back, I'm now realizing that content marketing is the highest value thing. So the highest ROI marketing tactic for an attorney is everything that does not tie directly to ROI. It's having a real unique selling proposition. It's giving so much value in your marketplace that the whole market trusts you as their go-to source, right? All the things that Jay Abraham, who I've collaborated with 4 times in the last 2 months, who we've actually become decently close, talks about in preeminence, right? Building preeminence is the highest ROI task, but it's hard to measure ROI with that. But if you were just getting started, dude, there is no first step. It's a target that you would die for. Like, here's the target, and I'm willing to fire. I'm willing to burn off segments of my company if I have to get there. I'm willing to sell my house. I'm willing to live under a bridge. The target's going to happen. So what I see is like this meandering, right? Where it's like, okay, I just hope I get another case. So it's funny. I say this right. I'm going through this right now. I feel like I'm meandering right now. Like, and we have big goals and still I feel it, but it's just levels, right? So in the beginning stage, it's being the rainmaker. It's forming relationships you feel unworthy of forming, reaching out to people, getting rejected all the time, right? And it's relational capital in the beginning, right? Right now at the time of us doing this podcast, if you don't have any money and you're not on Clubhouse, like, you're shooting yourself in the foot right now. I mean, this is the best organic traffic I've ever gotten. I got 2,000 Instagram followers net positive in 2 weeks just from being on Clubhouse.
Wow.
Like, because it's a trending platform, right? But what's going to happen? The attorney's going to talk themselves out and go, well, my niche market is in Delaware. That's why I can't go on Clubhouse, because it's national, right? It's international. Well, create a group in Clubhouse called, Delaware Success Group. Then you could pull together a Delaware specific group. Like, you're only limited by your levels of creativity and commitment. I mean, I don't even think you need a website to get started. I didn't have, when I started cold calling attorneys, like, I had no website. I got hung up on, I got cursed out. And it's funny is the people who put their trust in me are still clients today. All my first 10 clients that I cold called are still clients with us today.
Wow.
And
pretty cool.
The crazy thing is because, and the reason I say that is I don't need any pats on the back. I'm way behind where my targets are right now. So I don't need any pats on the back, but I'm saying that because the people who trust you in the early stages are going to do it for reasons other than the flash and your 5-star reviews, which everyone knows are bullshit unless there's real paragraphs written out on them. It's hard. And what's really funny is I found this two-pronged thing. A small law firm feels like this. They feel like, well, I can't compete with the big firms, right? Mm-hmm. And they feel like that is a negative selling point towards them that holds them back. Mm-hmm. And the big law firms feel, well, I have such a big team. They can't talk to me as the attorney, and my team's too big, and people detach from that in the marketplace. Everyone has excuses, right? So what I would do is, if you're looking to just make your first move, is embrace where the hell you're at, go into massive action mode, and turn what you're insecure about into your unique selling proposition. Exactly what you're insecure about. No, I am small. And that's why I'm aggressive. I give personalized attention. You can call me on weekends, because you're going to exchange sweat in the beginning stages for ROI. So I'd say sweat more if you're in the early stages. And if you're in the bigger size, your unique selling proposition is different. Is, man, I was in those shoes when I was a sole proprietor one day. And you know what I noticed? Man, I was unable to look at all the details of the cases because I was juggling 15 cases. And that's why I was forced, because of demand in the market, to build a team. And now, instead of me getting on intake calls, okay, which is a low value use of time, what I do is I drive the strategy that gets our clients the best results possible in the market. So your unique selling proposition changes when you're small to when you're big, but the conviction, embracing your insecurities and making them your strengths. The fact that I was young, I was so insecure about, Kara. Like, when I started cold calling, I went to bed at night, every night thinking, everyone thinks I'm bullshitting them. I'm a fraud. And little did I know, when I actually surveyed my clients, and now we do it via Net Promoter Score surveys, they actually like that I'm young, because I'm not chained by the reality of the legal industry. Yes. Right? So I'm bringing new ideas to them, and the rose-colored glasses I wear actually are inspirational to others. So yeah, that's something I'm insecure about, though.
Yeah. The imposter syndrome was sneaking in a little bit there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Bill, great stuff. Kind of before we wrap up, maybe we can talk just briefly on, because I get this question all the time from attorneys, what's the best way to sort of hold their agency accountable? Where does transparency and reporting and all of that come into play? So often law firms, they're just not sure, how things are going. They don't know. They know they're, shelling out a bunch of money every month, and they're not really sure exactly, where those dollars are going. So maybe you can touch just briefly on how attorneys know if their agency is delivering results.
Yeah. So I want everyone listening right now to just visualize this for a second. Picture if every lawyer in the United States treated their employees the same way they treated their marketing agencies. Picture that for a moment. Do you think the industry would go up or down? What do you think, Kara?
I think it would go up.
Okay.
Oh, no. No, of course not. Yeah. I mean,
so the reason I say
it would
that,
of course go down, right? Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, I mean, the reason I say that is because, all the top players that I've interviewed on my show, like they have close relationships with their agency. It's trust. I mean, it's a deeper level of trust. They know nobody has the concoction. I know for sure I don't. I still don't know how to best market a law firm. And we've been doing this for 3 years. We have hundreds of clients, and I still go to bed at night not knowing because things change so quick. So the key is working with an agency that you trust, right? Really deeply, so that you can pivot with them. The key is having few agency relationships, right? For the few specialties you need help in, right? So think about that. The first thing before we talk about holding an agency accountable is analyze your own firm before you go and blame an agency. Do you have intake systems that make opportunities into money? Hate to go to the money thing, but actually I love to, because the marketing agency will give you the opportunity to turn things into money. But if you don't want it, if your belief system's here and the agency is giving you a couple extra leads, you're just going to come back down to your belief lid. So we've had attorneys that we've gotten way better results than they've ever had before through their campaigns, and they terminate their relationship with us permanently, right? And we have a 96% client retention rate. So like when those things happen, I actually tell our team to applaud if they were a wrong fit client in mindset, right? Because we don't want to work with people who have short-term thinking like that anymore. So we'll never penalize someone who has the wrong mindset working with us for leaving. I'm not going to penalize my team for that, because I can't change 10 years of wiring with you working with us for 3 or 4 months, right? So the key is analyze your own firm first. Am I dropping the ball on intake? Am I persistently following up with leads? Do I have a high energy, solution-oriented, service-oriented person answering the phones? So, positively following up with leads, educating them, giving them solutions. Or do I have an underpaid receptionist going, law office, right?
It's the worst.
Oh yeah, the attorney is not available, right? So the next thing is identify and inspect your proprietary marketing system. No marketing agency, unless you want to go spend $1 million a year or something, no marketing agency, even Coca-Cola, they design their proprietary marketing strategy in a boardroom with the executive team. And then once the strategy is clear, then they go and employ either 1099s, agencies to fulfill pieces of the strategy they can't do internally with technical expertise that they need from other agencies. So the best thing to do before you go and point at an agency and go through AJS, agency jumping syndrome, which I call, before you go through that jumping syndrome where you get excited about a new idea, cancel with one agency and go to another one, have billionaire level patience. Take a deep breath and go, what's my macro strategy? I've felt this way before. I call it feedback analysis. Have you ever felt this way before in the last 18 months? Do you go through emotional highs and lows with your agencies? Interesting. Is that a deflection mechanism because you're afraid to inspect the fact you have nothing unique about your firm communicated anywhere in your assets or landing pages or website, and there's no good 5-star reviews that would actually sell someone on working with you? And is there, no efficiency or aggression in your intake process? Like, what beliefs are causing this pointing the finger at the agency? Because I don't even, we probably spend $4,500 a month with our accounting agency that does all of our accounting, Growth Force. I'm sure they've messed tons of stuff. I actually know they did. I don't even have time to cancel with them. Like, I'm dealing with huge monster, like alert problems, right? I don't have time to cancel with an agency. Like,
Yeah.
we're in abundance.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. We're just in abundance. So the point I was saying is the highest value task is to educate. Now this is my story and I'm sticking to it, as they say, right? The answer to your question, how do you hold your agency accountable, is to educate yourself on the realities of marketing so that you have proper expectations on the platforms you are investing in. That's step one. And then step two is to have a proprietary marketing strategy that you employ an agency to help you with, rather than gambling all the chips on an agency to figure it out for you. And then last but not least is analyze your intake process and where you're dropping the ball. Then you can go criticize an agency.
Absolutely. Yeah, Bill. So what would you say to a prospective client of yours who might say, I don't have any time for marketing. That's why I'm hiring you. I don't want to be involved. I don't want to do anything. I can't do this. I have pressing client matters. You know, what would you say to a prospect in that position?
Yep. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to find someone else on their team for them to delegate marketing to. And then we're going to have reporting calls with them, and then have them share summaries with the owner and try and pull that owner into those reporting calls eventually.
Yeah.
And then separately is we're going to give them a course. So we have a Grand Lawyer Marketing Plan course, and we're going to probably end up giving someone like that our course, because they don't know what they don't know. And that's why they're neglecting it. Because if you're neglecting marketing, I mean, I interviewed Vern Harnish 3 weeks ago in his book, Scaling Up. He says, what is strategy in a business? It's marketing strategy. It's product market fit. It's literally, how does your service or product fit within a greater marketplace, right? So for you to say, I don't have time for marketing, is literally saying you don't have time for air in growing your business.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Yeah. It's a little bit frustrating hearing that, right? I don't have time for this. I don't have time to grow my business. I don't have time to, work on the business. Well, you gotta figure that out, right? Yeah, no, that's great. So, okay. This is awesome stuff. Bill, tell everyone a little bit more about SMB team, how they can contact you, take the next steps if they're interested in getting your help.
Yeah. I don't want to, push you guys towards anything. I mean, you can always check out our website. We do tons and tons of free stuff. I mean, you could always just go to smbteam.com or, apply for a consultation with, we invented something that's called G3, which basically combines Google ads, local services ads, and YouTube ads all in one, which is an awesome service that we provide. It's led by Anthony on my team, who runs our services business. And then, we have a coaching business, which just grew out of nowhere. We have 60 plus attorneys in it right now. It's a program on basically how to implement operating systems into your firm using concepts from Traction, and also how to craft your own proprietary marketing strategy. You could learn more about that at smbteam.com, but definitely just register for one of our webinars. You'll probably see our ads somewhere. I'm here to help people compress decades into days, as Tony Robbins says. And that's why I feel like I was placed on this planet, is to take things that should have taken 10 years and crunch them into like a couple months. So if you're interested in that, follow up with us.
Excellent. Yeah, those ads are definitely following me all over the internet. I'll tell you that. Yeah, I highly recommend reaching out to Bill and his team. Attend some of his sessions. They're just really value packed, and it'll be a wonderful time investment. So Thanks again, Bill. It was a real pleasure. I appreciate all of your time and all of your insight. Join us for our next episode of Practical Marketing Tips for Small Law Firms very soon. Have a great one. Thanks, guys.